Jake Martinez stepped off the transport shuttle and looked around at the massive silver buildings that stretched into the purple sky. The Galactic Academy on Zentara Prime was bigger than anything he had ever seen back on Earth. Students of all shapes and sizes walked between the buildings, some floating, some walking on multiple legs, and others that looked like living crystals. He pulled his old backpack higher on his shoulders and checked the paper in his hand. Room 247 in the Harmony Wing. His first day as an exchange student was about to begin. As Jake walked through the main courtyard, other students stared at him. He was used to being average back home, but here he felt different. His simple jeans and t-shirt looked plain compared to the flowing robes and shimmering suits the other students wore. Some of them pointed at him and whispered to their friends. A tall, thin student with blue skin and 4 arms approached him. "Are you lost?" she asked in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. "I'm looking for the Harmony Wing," Jake said, showing her his paper. "Oh, you must be the new student from Earth." "I'm Zara from the floating cities of Kepler 442b. Follow me." Jake walked beside Zara as she led him through the academy grounds. She moved with grace, her feet barely touching the ground. Jake noticed that she seemed to float rather than walk, and her movements were smooth and effortless. "Is this your first time away from your home world?" Zara asked. "Yes," Jake replied. "Everything here is so different." "Your planet sounds interesting." "Floating cities?" Zara smiled. "Yes, we live in the upper atmosphere where the air is perfect and gentle. The weather never changes, and we have beautiful views of the gas clouds below. It's very peaceful." They reached a large building made of what looked like white stone that seemed to glow from within. Zara pointed to an entrance. "This is the Harmony Wing. Your room should be on the 2nd floor." Jake thanked her and went inside. The hallways were wide and tall, with soft lighting that came from the walls themselves. He found room 247 and knocked on the door. The door opened to reveal a being that looked like a walking crystal formation. It was about his height but made entirely of clear, blue crystal that shined softly when it moved. "You must be Jake," the crystal being said, though Jake couldn't see a mouth. The voice seemed to come from inside the crystal structure. "I am Crix. I will be your roommate." Jake entered the room and was surprised to see that it was larger than his entire apartment back home. There were 2 beds, though one looked more like a charging station for Crix. "I hope you don't mind the room," Crix said, his crystal body producing gentle musical tones as he spoke. "I requested a quiet space since my people need calm environments to function properly." "This is perfect," Jake said, setting his backpack on the bed. "I'm not used to having so much space." Crix tilted his head, which created a soft bell-like sound. "Your world must be very crowded. I'm sorry you had to live in such difficult conditions." Jake was confused by this comment, but didn't want to seem rude. "It's not that bad," he said. "I actually like having people around." The next morning, Jake woke up early out of habit and decided to go for a run around the academy grounds. The air on Zentara Prime was thinner than Earth's, but it didn't bother him much. He jogged along the paths between buildings, enjoying the strange purple sunrise. When he returned to the room, Crix was awake and chiming softly. "You were gone for a long time," Crix said with concern. "I was worried something had happened to you." "I just went for a run," Jake said, wiping sweat from his forehead with his shirt. Crix's chimes became more urgent. "You were running? For exercise? But that's so dangerous. What if you had fallen or hurt yourself?" Jake laughed. "Running is good for you. I do it every day back home." The crystal being's chimes became discordant. "Every day? But why would you put yourself in danger every day?" Before Jake could answer, there was a knock on the door. Zara entered with another student, a creature that looked like a walking tree with leaves that changed colors as it moved. "Good morning," Zara said. "I wanted to introduce you to Quinn. She's from the Garden Worlds." Quinn's leaves rustled as she spoke in a voice like wind through branches. "Welcome to the Academy. I hope you're finding everything comfortable." "Everything's great," Jake said. "I was just telling Crix about my morning run." Both Zara and Quinn looked shocked. "You run for exercise?" Quinn asked, her leaves turning a worried shade of brown. "Sure," Jake said. "Don't you exercise on your worlds?" Zara shook her head. "We don't need to. Our bodies are perfectly adapted to our environments. Forced physical activity would be harmful to us." "My people absorb energy from our sun," Quinn added. "We stand in our gardens and photosynthesize. Movement is only necessary for reaching new soil or better sunlight." Jake realized that his new friends came from very different worlds than Earth. "What about sports, games?" "We have mental games," Crix chimed. "We solve complex mathematical problems and create harmonic resonances. Physical games would be too risky." "What kind of games do your people play?" Zara asked. Jake thought for a moment. "Well, we have football, where you try to carry a ball past the other team. And basketball, where you try to throw a ball through a hoop. And soccer, where you kick a ball into a goal." His three friends looked at each other with concern. "You throw things at each other?" Quinn asked, her leaves turning pale. "And you kick things?" Zara added. "That sounds violent." "It's not violent," Jake said quickly. "It's fun. People enjoy playing these games." Crix's chimes became very soft and sad. "Your world must be a very harsh place if your people have to train for violence, even in their games." Jake was starting to understand that his friends thought Earth was a dangerous place. He wanted to reassure them, but wasn't sure how. "We should get to class," Zara said. "Dr. Vextel doesn't like it when students are late." They walked together to the Universal Biology classroom, which was a large circular room with seats arranged in tiers around a central platform. Dr. Vextel was already there, a tall, elegant being with smooth, pale blue skin and large, dark eyes. She wore flowing robes that seemed to move like water. "Good morning, students," Dr. Vextel said in a voice that sounded like gentle waves. "Today we will discuss planetary classifications and how they affect the evolution of intelligent life." Jake took a seat between Crix and Quinn, with Zara floating just above her chair in the row behind them. "As you all know," Dr. Vextal continued, "most civilized species evolved on Class M worlds. These planets have stable climates, comfortable gravity, and predictable weather patterns. The water is pure, the air is clean, and the environment is generally safe for life to develop complex societies." She activated a holographic display showing different types of planets. Some less fortunate species developed on Class H worlds, which have harsher conditions. These planets often have variable weather, dangerous terrain, or other challenges that make life more difficult. Dr. Vextel's gaze moved to Jake. "Our new student from Earth comes from such a world. The initial surveys show that Earth has some challenging environmental conditions." Jake noticed that all his classmates were looking at him with sympathy. He felt embarrassed that his planet was being described as a difficult place to live. "However," Dr. Vextal continued, "species from Class H worlds often develop remarkable adaptations. They tend to be more resilient and resourceful than species from easier environments." During the break, several students approached Jake to offer their help. A student with tentacles instead of arms brought him extra food. "You probably need more nutrition since your world is so harsh," she said kindly. Another student, who looked like a large, friendly mushroom, offered him a softer cushion for his chair. "Your world's gravity must be very hard on your body," he said with concern. Jake accepted their gifts gratefully, though he didn't understand why everyone thought he needed special help. He was just a normal guy from Earth, and Earth seemed pretty normal to him. As the day continued, Jake began to realize that his idea of normal was very different from his classmates' idea of normal. What he considered everyday life on Earth seemed to worry and frighten his new friends. But he was determined to fit in and make friends at the Galactic Academy, He just hoped that when they learned more about Earth, they wouldn't be too scared of him. The next day at lunch, Jake sat with his new friends in the academy cafeteria. The dining hall was enormous, with tables floating at different heights to accommodate students who lived in different gravity conditions. Jake noticed that most of the food looked like colorful jellies, glowing fruits, and things that sparkled like gems. "This is interesting," Jake said, poking at a blue cube on his plate. "What is it?" "Crystallized nutrients," Crix chimed softly. "My people consume pure energy, but these cubes help us maintain our structure in different environments." Zara was drinking something that looked like liquid starlight from a tube. "This is atmospheric moisture from my home world. We don't really eat solid food like some species do." Quinn had placed her hands on a small pot of soil that sat on the table. Her leaves were a bright green color. "I'm photosynthesizing," she explained to Jake. "The artificial sunlight here is almost as good as the real sun on my world." Jake looked down at his own tray, which held what looked like regular food by his standards. "I guess I eat pretty normal stuff compared to you guys." "Tell us about your home world," Zara said, floating slightly higher in her excitement. "What's it like to live on a Class H planet?" Jake thought for a moment. "Well, it's pretty nice. We have oceans and mountains and forests. The weather changes with the seasons, which keeps things interesting." "Weather changes?" Crix's chimes became worried. "That sounds dangerous. How do you prepare for unknown conditions?" "It's not really unknown," Jake said. "We have ways to predict the weather. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it snows, sometimes it's sunny. People just dress differently depending on what the weather is like." Quinn's leaves turned yellow with concern. "But what happens if you don't have the right clothing?" "Could you die?" Jake laughed. "Well, if you went outside in winter without a coat, you'd get cold. And if it was really cold for a long time, I guess you could freeze." "But people aren't that careless." His three friends looked at each other with horror. "Your weather can kill you?" Zara whispered. "Only in extreme situations," Jake said quickly, seeing their reactions. "Most of the time it's fine." "People have been living on Earth for thousands of years. What about water?" Quinn asked. "Is it safe to drink on your world?" "Sure," Jake said. "We drink water every day." "You have to drink water or you'll die." Crix's chimes became so discordant that other students turned to look. "You'll die without water? How often do you need to consume it?" "Maybe every few days," Jake said. "If you go too long without water, you get dehydrated and eventually die." Zara looked like she might faint. "Every few days? That's so frequent." "On my world, we can go months without needing to consume anything. My people only need soil and sunlight," Quinn added, her leaves now a sickly brown color. "I can't imagine needing to find water so often just to survive." Jake was starting to realize that his friends came from much easier worlds than Earth. "What about food? Don't you get hungry?" "Hungry?" Crix asked. "What is that?" "When you haven't eaten in a while, your stomach hurts and you feel weak. You need to eat food to make the feeling go away." The three aliens looked at Jake with deep sympathy. "Your body hurts when you don't eat?" Zara asked. "That's terrible." "It's not that bad," Jake said. "Everyone gets hungry. It's normal." "How often does this hunger happen?" Quinn asked. "A few times a day, usually. Most people eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner." Crix's chimes were so sad that they sounded like a funeral song. "3 times every single day, your body causes you pain and forces you to find food. It's really not painful." Jake protested. "It's just how humans work. We eat, we drink water, we sleep. It's normal life." "Sleep?" Zara asked. "You become unconscious every day?" "Well, yeah, everyone needs sleep. You go to bed at night and wake up in the morning." His friends stared at him in shock. "You lose consciousness every day?" Quinn's leaves were now completely brown. For how long? About 8 hours, usually. 8 hours. Crix's chimes were almost too high to hear. You're helpless and unconscious for a third of your life? Jake was getting frustrated. It's not being helpless, it's rest. Your body needs time to recover from the day. Recover from what? Zara asked. From work, from exercise, from thinking. From living. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. Your daily activities damage your body? Quinn asked in horror. Not damage exactly, it's just ... Look, everyone sleeps. Even animals sleep. It's natural. You have animals on your world? Crix asked. Living creatures that aren't intelligent. Lots of them, Jake said. Dogs, cats, birds, fish, elephants, lions, all kinds of animals. What do these animals do? Zara asked carefully. They live their lives. Some of them are pets that live with humans. Others live in the wild. What does live in the wild mean? Quinn asked. They live in nature. In forests, in the ocean, in the desert. They find their own food and make their own homes. His friends looked confused. They find their own food? Crix chimed. How? Different ways. Some animals eat plants. Some eat other animals. The silence that followed was so complete that Jake could hear conversations from other tables across the cafeteria. Some animals eat other animals? Zara whispered. Yeah, lions eat zebras, sharks eat fish, hawks eat mice. It's called the food chain. Quinn's leaves started falling off. Animals on your world kill and consume each other? It's nature, Jake said. That's how ecosystems work. Animals need food to survive, so some of them hunt other animals. Hunt? Crix's chimes were barely audible. They track down other animals and catch them for food. This is what happens on your world every day? Zara asked, her face pale. All the time. But it's natural. Animals have been doing it forever. And humans live on the same world as these killing creatures? Quinn asked. Sure. Humans are pretty good at avoiding dangerous animals. And most animals avoid humans too. Most animals? Crix asked. Not all of them? Well, some animals might attack humans if they feel threatened or if they're really hungry. But it doesn't happen very often. His friends sat in stunned silence. For several minutes. Finally, Zara spoke. Jake, do humans ever get attacked by these animals? Sometimes. There are stories about shark attacks, or bear attacks, or snake bites. But like I said, it's rare. Snake bites? Quinn asked weakly. Yeah, some snakes are poisonous. If they bite you, you can die unless you get medicine quickly. Crix made a sound like glass breaking. There are creatures on your world that can kill you with a single bite. Not just snakes. Spiders, scorpions, some frogs. But most of them try to avoid humans. Most of them, Zara repeated faintly. Jake was beginning to understand that his friends' worlds were much safer than Earth. Look, it sounds scary, but humans have lived with these dangers forever. We've learned how to be safe. How do you learn? To be safe from creatures that can kill you, Quinn asked. You learn which animals are dangerous and how to avoid them. You don't go swimming where there are sharks. You don't reach into dark places where snakes might be hiding. You don't bother bears or other big animals. But what if you accidentally encounter one of these dangerous creatures? Crix asked. Then you try to get away safely. Most of the time, the animal will leave you alone if you don't threaten it. Most of the time, Zara repeated again. Dr. Vextel approached their table, having overheard part of their conversation. Is everything all right? She asked, noticing the distressed state of Jake's friends. Jake was telling us about the animals on his world, Quinn said. Her remaining leaves trembling. Dr. Vextel looked at Jake with interest. The initial surveys of Earth mentioned some biological diversity, but they didn't provide details. What kinds of animals live on your world? Jake thought this was a chance to reassure everyone. All kinds. We have pets like dogs and cats that are really friendly. And horses that people ride, and cows that give milk. People ride on animals? Dr. Vextel asked. Sure. Horses are big and strong, so people can sit on their backs and the horse will carry them places. You make these creatures carry you? Crix asked. Isn't that slavery? No, horses like having jobs. People take good care of them and feed them and give them places to live. It's a partnership. Dr. Vextel was taking notes. These animals willingly serve humans? Well, dogs definitely do. Dogs love humans. They're loyal and friendly, and they protect human families. Protect from what? Dr. Vextel asked. Jake realized he was about to make things worse, but he couldn't lie. From dangerous people, or from other animals that might hurt humans. There are dangerous people on your world too? Zara asked. Jake sighed. Some people do bad things sometimes, but most people are good. Dr. Vextel's expression was becoming very serious. Mr. Martinez, I think we need to learn much more about your home world. Would you be willing to share more information with the class? Jake looked around at his friends' worried faces and Dr. Vextel's intense expression. He had a feeling that Earth was going to seem even more frightening once they learned the whole truth. The next morning, Dr. Vextel called Jake to her office before class. The room was filled with holographic displays and floating data screens. She gestured for him to sit in a chair that adjusted itself to his body. Jake, I spent all night researching your homeworld, Dr. Vextel said, her voice more serious than usual. The Federation's initial survey was very basic. I need to understand more about Earth to help your classmates and to update our records properly. Jake nodded. Sure, I'm happy to help. Dr. Vextel activated a large holographic display that showed Earth floating in space. Let's start with the basics. Your planet appears to be mostly covered with water. Yeah, about 70% of the surface is ocean, Jake said. And this water is safe for your species? Jake looked confused. We don't live in the ocean. Humans live on land. We need fresh water to drink, not salt water. Salt water? Dr. Vextel made notes on her floating screen. The water on your planet contains salt? The oceans do. Salt water is dangerous to drink. It will make you sick and eventually kill you if that's all you have. Dr. Vextel's eyes widened. So 70% of your planet is covered with liquid that would kill you if consumed? Well, when you put it that way, it sounds bad, Jake said, but we get fresh water from rivers and lakes and rain. Rain? Water falls from the sky. It's part of the water cycle. Water evaporates from the oceans, forms clouds, and then falls back down as rain or snow. Water falls from the sky? Dr. Vextel was typing rapidly. How much water? It depends. Sometimes it's just a light shower. Sometimes it's a heavy storm. During hurricanes, it can rain for days. Hurricanes? Jake realized he was about to explain something that would probably worry her. They're big storms with really strong winds. The winds can be over 100 miles per hour. Dr. Vextel stopped typing and stared at him. Winds that strong would destroy most structures. How do humans survive these hurricanes? We build strong houses and we have warning systems. When a hurricane is coming, people either leave the area or stay inside safe buildings. Your people have to flee from weather? Dr. Vextel asked. Sometimes. We also have tornadoes, which are like spinning columns of wind that can destroy entire neighborhoods. And blizzards, where so much snow falls that people can get trapped in their homes for days. Dr. Vextel was silent for a long moment. Then she pulled up another display showing Earth's gravity readings. According to this data, your planet has very strong gravity. I guess so, Jake said. It's normal for us. Normal? Dr. Vextel showed him a comparison chart. Earth's gravity is nearly twice as strong as most inhabited worlds. How do you move around with such strong gravity pulling you down? Jake shrugged. We just do. We've never known anything different. But doesn't it make you tired? Doesn't it hurt your body? No, we're used to it. Actually, humans are pretty strong because of the gravity. We have to be strong just to walk around. Doctor. Vextel made more notes. Let's talk about the animals you mentioned yesterday. You said some animals eat other animals? Yeah, that's how nature works on Earth. Plants make their own food from sunlight. Plant-eating animals eat the plants. Meat-eating animals eat the plant eaters. It's all connected. Describe one of these meat-eating animals. Jake thought for a moment. Well, there are lions. They're big cats with sharp teeth and claws. They hunt in groups and they can run really fast. They mostly eat zebras and antelope. How big are these lions? An adult male can weigh about 400 pounds. Dr. Vextel's hands stopped moving over her keyboard. 400 pounds of muscle and teeth that hunts other animals? Yeah, they're pretty impressive, but they usually avoid humans. Usually? Well, sometimes lions will attack humans if they're really hungry or if humans get too close to their territory. Dr. Vextel pulled up a new screen. What other dangerous animals live on Earth? Jake realized this was going to be a long conversation. There are bears, which are even bigger than lions. Some bears can weigh 800 pounds. There are wolves that hunt in packs. There are crocodiles that live in water and can bite through almost anything. Crocodiles? They're like giant lizards with huge jaws full of teeth. They hide in water and grab animals that come to drink. Dr. Vextel was typing so fast her fingers. We're blurring. Continue. There are sharks in the ocean. Some of them are 20 feet long with rows of sharp teeth. There are poisonous snakes that can kill you with one bite. There are spiders that can make you very sick. Are there any safe areas on your planet? Jake laughed. Most places are safe. These dangerous animals usually live in specific areas. Cities are safe. Houses are safe. Most of the time, humans don't have to worry about animals. Cities? Places. Where lots of humans live together. Millions of people in one area. Millions? Dr. Vextel looked shocked. How many humans live on Earth? About 8 billion. Dr. Vextel's chair fell backward and she caught herself on her desk. 8 billion humans live on one planet with all these dangerous animals and deadly weather? Yeah, humans are good at surviving. We're pretty tough. Tough, Dr. Vextel repeated. Jake, I need to ask you about human physical capabilities. Yesterday, you mentioned that humans run for exercise. How fast can humans run? It depends on the person. A normal person might run a mile in about 8 minutes. Really fast runners can do it in under 4 minutes. How far can humans run without stopping? Some people run marathons, which are about 26 miles. Really dedicated runners can go much farther. Some people run for hundreds of miles. Double quotes. Dr. Vextel sat down heavily. Humans can run for hundreds of miles without stopping? Well, they stop to rest and eat and sleep. But yeah, some humans can run across entire continents. Why would they do this? For fun, mostly. Or to challenge themselves. Humans like to see how far they can push their bodies. For fun, Dr. Vextel said weakly. What about strength? How strong are humans? Jake thought about this. I'm not that strong, but I can lift maybe 200 pounds if I try hard. Really strong humans can lift much more. You can lift twice your body weight? I guess so. Is that unusual? Dr. Vextel didn't answer. Instead, she asked, what do humans do when they're injured? We go to doctors, they fix us up and we heal. How long does healing take? It depends on the injury. A cut might heal in a few days. A broken bone takes a few weeks. Humans heal pretty quickly. A few weeks to regrow bone? We don't regrow it exactly. The bone repairs itself. The human body is good at fixing itself. Dr. Vextel was quiet for several minutes. Finally, she said, Jake, I need to share this information with my colleagues. Would you be willing to speak to the entire xenobiology department? Sure, Jake said. Is everything okay? You seem worried. I'm beginning to understand that Earth is a much more dangerous world than we realized. And humans are much more capable than our initial assessment suggested. We're just normal people, Jake said. We're not special. Dr. Vextel looked at him with an expression Jake couldn't identify. Jake, I don't think you understand how extraordinary humans are by galactic standards. That afternoon, Dr. Vextel brought Jake to a large lecture hall filled with professors from different departments. They all looked at him with intense curiosity as Dr. Vextel shared her research. Earth is not a Class H planet as we originally classified, she announced. Based on new information, Earth should be classified as a Class X Deathworld. Murmurs filled the room. Jake didn't understand what that meant, but it sounded serious. The planet has extreme gravity, deadly weather, toxic oceans, and millions of predatory species. The fact that intelligent life developed there at all is remarkable. An elderly professor with silver skin raised her hand. How did humans survive? Long enough to develop civilization? Dr. Vextel looked at Jake. It appears they became apex predators. Apex predators? Jake asked, what does that mean? It means your species evolved to be at the top of the food chain on your world. You're natural hunters and survivors. Jake shook his head. We're not hunters. Most humans buy food from stores. But your ancestors were hunters, Dr. Vextel explained. You evolved the ability to chase prey for long distances, to work together in groups, to make tools and weapons. These traits are still part of your biology. Another professor asked, are all humans as physically capable as this specimen? I'm just average, Jake protested. I'm not special at all. The room fell silent. Dr. Vextel looked at her colleagues. If Jake is average, then we need to completely revise our understanding of human capabilities. Jake looked around the room, at all the worried faces staring at him. He was starting to realize that being human might be more unusual than he had ever imagined. The next morning, Dr. Vextel announced that all students would participate in standard physical fitness testing. Jake thought it sounded fun. His alien classmates looked nervous about any kind of physical activity. This is just routine evaluation, Dr. Vextel explained to the class. We test all students to make sure they're healthy and to understand their physical needs better. The testing facility was a large white room filled with strange machines. Jake had never seen equipment like this before. Everything looked smooth and advanced, with no visible buttons or controls. We'll start with the gravity adaptation test, said Dr. Kellen, the Academy's health specialist. He was a tall, thin being with gray skin and very long fingers. This machine simulates different gravity environments. Dr. Kellen showed them a chamber that looked like a clear box. Students enter the chamber and we gradually increase the gravity. Most species can handle up to 1.2 times standard gravity for short periods. We consider 1.5 times gravity to be the absolute maximum for safety. Zara went first. She floated into the chamber and the test began. At 1.1 times gravity, she started to struggle. At 1.2 times gravity, she was moving very slowly and breathing hard. The test stopped there. Excellent results, Dr. Kellen said. Very typical for a species from low-gravity environments. Quinn was next. As a plant-based being, she had trouble with any gravity changes. The test stopped at barely above normal gravity when her leaves started drooping. Krix did slightly better. Being a crystalline structure, but he could only handle 1.3 times gravity before his chimes became distressed and he asked to stop. Jake, you're next, Dr. Kellen said. Jake walked into the chamber. It felt normal at first, then he noticed a slight pressure as the gravity increased. At 1.2 times gravity, he felt a little heavier, but not uncomfortable. At 1.3 times gravity, it was like carrying a heavy backpack. At 1.4 times gravity, he felt like he was walking uphill. "How are you feeling?" Dr. Kellen asked through the speaker. "Fine," Jake said. "It's a little heavy, but not bad." The gravity continued to increase, 1.5 times gravity. Jake was still walking normally. The machine continued past what Dr. Kellen said was the safety limit. "This is remarkable," Dr. Kellen muttered, checking his instruments. "The machine is at maximum output, 1.8 times standard gravity." Jake was breathing a little harder, but he was still standing upright and moving around. "Should I do something specific?" he asked. Dr. Kellen stopped the test, looking amazed. "You can come out now. That was extraordinary." Jake's classmates stared at him as he stepped out of the chamber. "How did you do that?" Zara asked weakly. "Do what?" Jake asked. "The gravity in there was strong enough to crush most species," Crix chimed frantically. "How are you still walking around?" Jake shrugged. "Earth's gravity is probably pretty strong compared to your world's." Dr. Kellen was taking notes rapidly. "Let's move to the endurance test. Students walk on this platform while we monitor their vital signs. The standard test is 30 minutes of light activity." Zara went first again. After 15 minutes of slow walking, she was exhausted and had to stop. Quinn lasted only 10 minutes before she needed to rest. Crix managed 20 minutes, but his chimes became very slow and tired. Jake stepped onto the platform and started walking. The pace felt easy, like a casual stroll. After 30 minutes, Dr. Kellen checked his instruments. "Your heart rate has barely increased," Dr. Kellen said. "And your breathing is still normal. Can you continue?" "Sure," Jake said. "This is easier than my normal morning run." Jake continued walking. After an hour, Dr. Kellen looked confused. After 2 hours, Dr. Kellen called Dr. Vextal to come observe. After 3 hours, a crowd of professors had gathered to watch. "Jake, how do you feel?" Dr. Vextal asked. "Good," Jake said, still walking at a steady pace. "This is actually kind of relaxing. You've been walking for over 3 hours without stopping," Dr. Kellen said. "Your vital signs show no stress at all." "Humans are built for walking long distances," Jake explained. "My dad told me that early humans used to walk all day hunting animals." Dr. Kellen finally stopped the test, not because Jake was tired, but because the professors wanted to move on to other measurements. "Let's test grip strength," Dr. Kellen said, leading them to another machine. "Students squeeze this device as hard as they can." The machine looked like a small metal bar with sensors. Zara squeezed it gently, and the display showed a low number. Quinn couldn't grip it properly with her leaf-like appendages. Crix managed a moderate score with his crystal structure. "Jake, your turn," Dr. Kellen said. Jake took the device and squeezed it normally. There was a loud cracking sound, and the display started flashing error messages. "Oh no," Jake said, looking at the broken device. "I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to squeeze hard." Dr. Kellen examined the machine. "You broke the force sensor. These devices are designed to measure up to 200 pounds of pressure." "Is that a lot?" Jake asked. "For most species, yes," Dr. Kellen said. "Let me get a stronger measuring device." He returned with a much larger machine that looked more industrial. "This one can measure up to 500 pounds of force." Jake took the new device and squeezed gently. The display showed 180 pounds. "Try squeezing harder," Dr. Kellen said. Jake squeezed with more effort. The display jumped to 320 pounds. "Harder," Dr. Kellen encouraged. Jake really concentrated and squeezed as hard as he could. The display reached 450 pounds before Jake let go. 450 pounds, Dr. Kellen announced to the stunned crowd. "That's more than twice the strength of our strongest recorded species." "I'm not even that strong back home," Jake said apologetically. "My friend Danny can probably squeeze much harder than me." The professors looked at each other with worried expressions. Let's test reaction time, Dr. Kellen said, clearly shaken. This device will flash lights randomly. Press the button as quickly as you can when you see the light. Zara took the test first. When the light flashed, she took about half a second to press the button. Quinn was slower, taking almost a full second. Crix managed about a third of a second. These are all normal reaction times, Dr. Kellen explained. Anything under a quarter second would be considered very fast. Jake took the device. When the first light flashed, he pressed the button so quickly that Dr. Kellen thought the machine was broken. Let's try again, Dr. Kellen said, checking the equipment. The light flashed again. Jake pressed the button instantly. The machine says you reacted in 0.08 seconds, Dr. Kellen said, staring at the display. That's impossible. The machine must be malfunctioning. Maybe I was anticipating it. Jake suggested. They ran the test 10 more times with random intervals between flashes. Jake's reaction time was consistently under 0.1 seconds. This is faster than our machines can accurately measure, Dr. Kellen admitted. Humans have to react quickly to survive on Earth, Jake explained. If a predator attacks you, or if you're driving a car and something jumps in front of you, you need to react immediately or you could die. Driving a car? Dr. Vextal asked. It's a machine that moves really fast. Humans use them to travel around. But you have to pay attention and react quickly to avoid accidents. How fast do these machines move? Dr. Kellen asked. On highways, maybe 60 or 70 miles per hour. In cities, slower. The professors were silent. Dr. Vextal finally spoke. Jake, you're telling us that humans regularly travel at high speeds in machines, and they must react instantly to avoid death? Yeah, pretty much. Driving is normal. Most adults know how to drive. Let's do one more test, Dr. Kellen said quietly. Pain tolerance. This device delivers mild discomfort to test how different species respond to unpleasant sensations. Jake's classmates all jumped back when they heard pain tolerance. Pain? Zara asked. Why would you test pain? Medical reasons, Dr. Kellen explained. We need to know how much discomfort different species can handle for medical procedures. Zara refused to take the test. Quinn said her species didn't experience pain the way others did. Crix tried it but asked to stop immediately when the device activated. Jake? Dr. Kellen asked. Jake took the device, which looked like a small metal pad that attached to his arm. What's it going to do? It will create a mild, uncomfortable sensation, like a pinch or a small electric shock. Dr. Kellen activated the device. At the lowest setting, Jake didn't react. Did you feel anything? Dr. Kellen asked. Not really, Jake said. Dr. Kellen increased the setting. Still no reaction from Jake. How about now? I think I feel something. It's kind of tingly. Dr. Kellen kept increasing the setting. At the level that would cause most species to scream and beg for the test to stop, Jake was still saying it felt tingly. This is the maximum setting, Dr. Kellen said, his voice shaking. You should be experiencing significant pain. It's a little uncomfortable now, Jake said. Like when your foot falls asleep. Dr. Kellen turned off the device and stared at Jake. On my world, we use devices like this to stop dangerous criminals. The pain is supposed to be so intense that no being can ignore it. Humans are used to pain, Jake explained. We get hurt a lot on Earth. Cuts, bruises, broken bones. You learn to deal with it. Dr. Vextal was furiously taking notes. Jake, how often do humans get injured? Pretty regularly. Kids fall down and scrape their knees. Athletes get injured playing sports. People cut themselves cooking or working. It's just part of life. And humans continue functioning while injured. News about Jake's incredible test results spread through the Galactic Academy faster than anyone expected. By the next morning, Students from every department were trying to get a look at the human from the Deathworld. Some watched him from a distance with amazement. Others seemed scared and avoided him completely. Jake noticed the change but didn't understand it. "Why is everyone acting weird around me?" he asked Crix during breakfast. Crix's chimes were soft and uncertain. "The test results yesterday were very unusual. Many students have never seen anyone with abilities like yours." "What abilities?" Jake asked, confused. "I just did some simple tests." Zara floated over to their table, but she stayed farther away than usual. "Jake, the professors are saying that humans might be the most physically capable species ever discovered by the Federation." "That's crazy," Jake said. "I'm just a normal guy. Back home, I'm not special at all." Quinn approached the table, but her leaves were a nervous yellow color. "If you're normal, then what are exceptional humans like?" Jake thought about this. "Well, there are professional athletes who are much stronger and faster than me. And soldiers who are trained to be really tough. And people who do extreme sports like mountain climbing or deep-sea diving." His friends looked terrified by this information. That afternoon, Dr. Vextel called an emergency meeting of the entire Academy faculty. Jake was asked to attend, though he wasn't sure why. The meeting was held in the largest auditorium on campus, and it was packed with professors, administrators, and senior students. Dean Thyros, the Academy's leader, stood at the center of the room. He was an ancient being from one of the core worlds, with wisdom that came from centuries of experience with different species. "We are here to discuss the implications of our recent discoveries about Earth and humanity," Dean Thyros announced. "Dr. Vextel, please share your findings." Dr. Vextel activated a massive holographic display showing Earth. "Our initial classification of Earth as a Class H world was completely incorrect. Based on new data, Earth should be reclassified as a Class X death world." Murmurs filled the auditorium. Jake had heard this before, but seeing it presented to the entire Academy made it seem more serious. "Earth's environmental conditions are more extreme than any world known to produce intelligent life," Dr. Vextel continued. "The gravity is crushing by galactic standards. The weather systems are violent and unpredictable. The planet hosts millions of predatory species, many capable of killing adult humans." She showed images of Earth's animals that she had found in the Federation database. Pictures of lions, bears, sharks, and snakes appeared on the screen. The audience gasped at each image. Despite these conditions, humans not only survived, but became the dominant species on their planet. They accomplished this by evolving capabilities that exceed anything we have previously encountered. Dr. Kellen joined her at the front of the room. "Yesterday's physical tests confirm that humans possess extraordinary strength, endurance, speed, and pain tolerance. The human student tested beyond the limits of our equipment in multiple categories." Dean Thyros looked at Jake. "Mr. Martinez, we understand that you consider yourself average among your species. Is this accurate?" Jake nodded. "Yeah, I'm pretty normal. I'm not a professional athlete or anything special." "Can you describe what you would consider an exceptional human?" Jake thought carefully. "Well, there are humans who can run a marathon in just over 2 hours. That's 26 miles in 2 hours. There are weightlifters who can lift over 1,000 pounds. There are fighters who train their whole lives to be tough in combat." The auditorium was completely silent. Jake continued, not realizing the impact of his words. "There are humans who climb the tallest mountains on Earth, where the air is so thin you need special equipment to breathe. Some people dive to the bottom of the ocean or jump out of flying machines for fun. There are humans who go to the most dangerous places on Earth just to explore them. They do these things voluntarily?" Dean Thyros asked. "Sure, humans like challenges. We like to see how far we can push ourselves." A professor from the back of the room raised her hand. "Mr. Martinez, what happens when humans fight each other?" Jake realized this was a sensitive topic, but he decided to be honest. Sometimes humans have wars. Armies fight against each other with weapons and strategies. But most humans prefer peace. We try to solve problems without fighting, but humans are capable of warfare. The professor pressed. Humans have been fighting for thousands of years. We've gotten pretty good at it. But we've also gotten better at avoiding wars through diplomacy and cooperation. Dr. Vextal added, our research shows that human military capabilities are based on their hunting adaptations. Humans can work together in large groups, plan complex strategies, and use tools as weapons. These same abilities that help them survive on their Deathworld make them formidable in conflict. Dean Thyros was quiet for a long moment. Mr. Martinez, how do humans view other species? What would happen if humans encountered aliens who were hostile? Jake thought about this seriously. Most humans would probably try to communicate first and find a peaceful solution. But if aliens were attacking innocent people, humans would definitely fight back to protect themselves and others. And humans would be effective in such a conflict? Probably, Jake admitted. Humans are good at adapting to new situations and working together when there's a threat. Another professor asked, what about human reproduction? How quickly does your population grow? Earth has about 8 billion humans now, Jake said. The population has been growing pretty fast over the last few centuries. The number caused another stir in the audience. Most galactic civilizations had populations in the millions, not billions. 8 billion humans, all with capabilities similar to yours? Dean Thyros asked. Yeah, basically. Some are stronger, some are smarter, some are faster, but we're all pretty similar. Dr. Vextal. A CTIVATED, another display. Based on this information, I'm recommending that humanity be immediately classified as a category of galactic protector species. Their physical capabilities, combined with their apparent peaceful intentions, make them ideal candidates for Federation. Security forces, protector species? Jake asked. Dean Thyros explained. The Federation sometimes encounters hostile alien civilizations or dangerous cosmic threats. We need species capable of defending peaceful worlds. Based on what we've learned, humans might be uniquely qualified for this role. Jake felt uncomfortable with this idea. Humans just want to be friends with everyone. We're not looking to be space police or anything. But you would defend innocent beings if they were threatened? Dean Thyros asked. Of course, Jake said, without hesitation. Humans always try to help people who are in danger. The Dean nodded slowly. This confirms our assessment. Humanity's combination of physical prowess and protective instincts is exactly what the galaxy needs. A communication device chimed, and Dean Thyros answered it. After a brief conversation, he looked at Jake with surprise. Mr. Martinez, we've just received word that 5 more human students will be arriving next week as part of an expanded exchange program. Jake smiled. That's great. I'll finally have some people from home to talk to. The faculty members looked at each other nervously. The idea of 6 humans on campus was clearly causing them anxiety. What are these new students like? Dr. Vextal asked. Jake grinned. Well, there's my friend Danny, who's really into weightlifting and martial arts. There's Lisa, who's on the track team and runs ultramarathons. There's Marcus, who's in the military reserves. And Sarah, who does rock climbing and extreme sports. The auditorium fell completely silent. Jake realized he might have said something wrong. And the 5th student? Dean Thyros asked weakly. Oh, that's my sister Amy. She's really smart and tough. She wants to study alien cultures and maybe become a diplomat. Another human who wants to study other species. Dr. Vextal muttered. Jake looked around at all the worried faces. Is everything okay? You all seem nervous about meeting my friends. Dean Thyros managed a smile. We're just ... adjusting our expectations about human capabilities. After the meeting, Jake walked back to his dormitory with Crix, Zara, and Quinn. His friends were quieter than usual. "Jake," Crix chimed softly, "are you sure your friends are similar to you?" "Yeah, they're all pretty normal humans." "The human you described as being into martial arts and weightlifting," Zara said carefully. "He's stronger than you." "Danny?" "Oh yeah, he's much stronger than me. He could probably bench press 300 pounds easily." His friends stopped walking. 300 pounds? Quinn whispered. "Maybe more. I haven't seen him lift in a while." Crix's chimes became very high. "And fast. Jake, I think your arrival has changed how the galaxy views humanity forever." "I hope that's a good thing," Jake said. "It is," Zara said, though she still sounded nervous. "It's just going to take some time for everyone to adjust to the idea that humans are the strongest, toughest, most dangerous species in the known galaxy." "We're not dangerous," Jake protested. "We're friendly." "You're friendly apex predators from a Deathworld," Quinn corrected. "That's what makes you so remarkable." Jake thought about this as they reached the dormitory. Back home on Earth, he was just a regular college student who liked to stay in shape. Here at the Galactic Academy, he was apparently a representative of the most physically